Sis, it was once upon a time I absolutely hated paying my bills. And not in a way of, oh, the first is around the corner and I gotta pay rent, or the 15th is coming up and I have to pay my car note and I will still pay the bills. No, I would absolutely just totally avoid paying my bills as a whole. Life was very chaotic. I was always so stressed out because I've always felt like I could not make ends meet. I was extremely avoidant when it came to paying my bills. You know how people can be avoidant when it comes to relationships and their feelings. Well, I was extremely avoidant when it came to looking at my finances and paying my bills. I was definitely in that mindset of if you spend it, you make it back, you only live once, and all of that. But it was an extremely stressful and draining time for me. And it wasn't until I had to really stop and be honest about my situation and face it and understand who I wanted to be and who I was becoming. The woman that I was desiring to be, she took care of responsibilities. She faced her troubles. She did the work on what she needed to work on and did what she needed to do to get to the places that she wanted to be. Now, within me knowing that and me actively working on that and becoming a lot better in that area, I'm not perfect, but I'm a lot better than what I used to be. I went from being the queen of getting my car repoed in the past, always having to move from house to house because eventually I would rack up bills and back rent. And now I'm out here paying my bills on time. And not only that, traveling, going to restaurants, hanging out with friends, no longer feeling that anxiety feeling of, you know, having to, you know, when I think about it, I was being very impulsive a lot as I'm just sitting here talking and I'm thinking about it. That's the word that's coming to my mind. I lived very impulsively, you know, and was very scared of if I pay all my rent, I'm not going to be able to go do X, Y, and Z. I can't go out to eat with my friends and all of that stuff. It was just a big old cycle of a mess that I'm so glad I got myself out of. And girl, if this sounds anything like you, I just want to give you some wisdom and some tips to help you change that in your life for you to truly live a financial life of freedom. So, first and foremost, I'm not going to sit here and tell you go get you a better job, go pick up another job, go get your degree, and all of that stuff. If you want to do that, that's great. I can't speak on that because that's not the route I actually took to heal this. To be honest with you, I am not a person who has a phenomenal job that pays lots of money or have a business that's booming right now. Well, not yet. That is definitely something that's going to be coming into fruition very soon. However, I am a person that just sat and really healed her inner world so that I can attract and manifest the things that I want in my life. Now, here's the thing, we hear all of this fluff about manifest this, manifest that, healing, 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 healing. None of that manifestation stuff really matters when you're trying to level up and when you're trying to attract certain things in your life. You cannot go from a person who can barely take care of their responsibilities and things they should be taken care of to being able to be handled bigger responsibilities and stuff like that in these manifestations you might want with creating a business. A lot of responsibility come with creating a business. Having a certain position in a job, it might take a lot of responsibility in that area as well. And I'm not here to say you cannot have any of that because yes, the heck you can, and I want you to have it. But I want it to last for you as well. I don't want it to be overwhelming for you. I don't want it to drain you. So, what I want you to do is, I want you to heal the things that you have going on in your life so that you can understand that you can attract these things. Think about living in a lack mindset is at your core and subconsciously, you don't even believe that you're really worthy of the things that you want in your life. That's why you're still scrambling. That's why you're still living in chaos. That's why you're still handling things the way you are still handling them because you don't even believe that you are really worthy of getting these grand things that you're even asking for. Because if you did, you would not be handling things the way you are handling them, if that makes sense. Like for me, If I believe that I was this money magnet and I can attract money in easily, then why am I so scared to pay my bills on time? Why am I scared to let go of that money? It's because subconsciously, I don't believe that I can really attract this stuff. But I'm not going to sit here and judge you or blame you for that because that mindset clearly came from somewhere. Rather, it was the way, most likely, it was the way that you grew up in your household and relationship you seen your parents and whoever raised you, how their relationship with money was. That shaped your concept of, if you can get money, how to get money, what money meant to you. For example, my mom struggled a lot. We moved from house to house. What do you think my life looked like when I got older? Not too different, but different. The thing of the matter is, as long as you're able to face and realize that you are in some shape or form repeating the same habits that your parents were doing, there's room for growth. There's room for growth, and you just have to be patient. I blocked almost all of my desires and manifestation by living in a lack mindset. Now, how did I work on this and how did I heal this? As I mentioned before, I was very honest with myself about my situation. I knew that I wanted differently. So I came to reality because just as much as we tap into our spiritual and mystical side, we got to have that balance of reality as well, right? Because I'm not going to even lie to you. Me being so mystical and tapping into my spiritual side, it almost as well kept me from really seeking the reality of my situation a lot. I'm a Pisces riser, okay? Let's just leave it at that. But anyway, so it causes you to block those manifestations you're trying to call in for you as well. So you want to be very, very mindful of that. So I started to face it. I started to face my reality and then I began to reframe my reality. At some point, as spiritual and mystical as I am, and I get a lot of my things from the other side, I had to also understand that I had to grow and have maturity in that as well. My ancestors didn't want to keep giving me things for me to drop the ball on it. I had to grow up in that area. I had to prove myself as well in that area of my life. So I really took that in and I took it and I let that be my drive. You know, let that be my drive. If I was able to get a lot of the things I got before, with me being as irresponsible as I was, imagine I could do with responsibility. Imagine what I could do with really taking on the things that I'm supposed to take on and doing what I really need to do. I chose peace over avoidance. I wanted to feel at peace. Let me tell you something. I was trying to move. I didn't want to be in the neighborhood I was in anymore. I wanted something safer for my kids. And I was still in that lack mindset of paying my rent, but still having a lagging little bit hanging over and, adding up and stuff like that. And I tried to move, and my landlord went and told one of the places I applied for how much I was late on my rent, and I got denied. And it made me upset, obviously, but it was like, girl, can you really be mad at her? Instead of me being upset at her for doing that, I took it as, you know what, get your stuff together. Don't ever let anybody be able to say something like that about you ever again. You understand? So it was in a way of me choosing peace, me choosing not to have no one asking me when I'm going to pay this and that because I'm avoiding. So I began to choose that over avoidance. Because avoidance does not bring you peace, it brings you a lot of chaos. And I don't know about you, but I was so sick of living in that chaos. So, what I really want you guys to understand is a lot of the stress that we experience is not even from what we have to do, it's from what we are avoiding. And once I stopped avoiding it, I actually began to feel a tremendous amount of peace. I don't want anybody having that much power over me anyway. That is when I began to really take control over my life. What are some ways that you can heal the your inner world? I want you to understand that you are deserving of money, that you are deserving of everything you want in this life, that money is not bad, that you're not broke. Stop saying you broke. Ugh, I can't stand that. That everything is not going to look perfect. I am not saying everything has to be spick and span. You do everything is due on the first. Everything is, that's not what I'm saying at all. You lean on the people and the things that will work with you during your time. It's so much abundance in that. It's so much abundance in leaning on the people that will work for you during that time and in what you need. If you have a landlord willing to work with you, it's abundance in that. If you have a car no place that's willing to work with you, it's abundance in that. Pay what you can pay out of what is realistic for you. Trust me on this. And you will be amazed at the way things shift for you. Okay, you don't ask for help out of survival, you ask for help out of abundance because that's who you are. You're an abundant person, and you really you have to believe that by taking care of your responsibilities. So, I'm wishing you so much success, so much travel, so much abundance, so much living the life that you're supposed to be living, so much elevation, and all of those things. And I will talk to you later. Bye.